Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
TBS, America's #1 independent television network, presents the following sports exclusive.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And check out every episode of the show at basicallysports.tumblr.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg, Mike.
and this is Andy, and you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
The absolute worst!
Greetings all, here we are.
Evening.
Zach,
Zach is
just under the wire there.
Yeah.
I saw him pop in as the intro was playing, so the three of us are here at least. We been a while since all four of us have been on at the same time at the start of the show, so it's kind of a new tradition we have, I think.
Yeah. So last week I was on assignment trying to figure out how the Bears beat the Bucks, and so I did not get any answers. And the weirdness has continued into this week as well. So still on it. I'm actually here today, so going to be in the show. It's pointless to waste time and energy trying to figure out these Bears, but
they got a nice win yesterday too. They who they beat yesterday? Carolina. Yeah,
Carolina
5-1, man.
Carolina Panthers, Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves, and the Panthers.
Teddy Two Gloves, baby. Yeah, here you go.
Well, yeah. So did you guys have a good old time last week? We had kind of I was having kind of a crisis here trying to figure out how to deal with Zach didn't get his pick in on the thing because I assume he hasn't logged into the board since like 2010. And Mike barely got an emergency pick in the other day. So
here's what I was thinking with Zach. We'll do it on the honor system. We'll give him the Bills Chiefs game. And Zach, be honest, who would you have picked before the game to win it? Or better yet, let's go back to the game that he originally got, Andy. Do you know what that was?
I'd have to look it up.
We just lost him anyway. I don't know what happened to him.
Well, it was a good run. I mean, he faded into the ether. It was grandma's internet. Let me see. Zach had Brown Steelers, and he didn't make a pick on that.
All right, Zach. I don't know if you heard, but what we're going to do with the wheel of picks thing is we're going to do it on the honor system. You had Browns Steelers for last week. Now, to be honest, who would you have picked?
Oh, I still would have picked the Steelers.
Yeah, see, I would have picked the Steelers too. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that that's a legit pick because I would have done the same thing.
Sure, that's fine.
All right, here we go.
Mike amended his. I gave him the Cardinals Cowboys pick as an option. He chose the Cardinals, so we'll let that one play out.
All right.
I think his other matchup was Bengals Colts. So either way, I've got this week's one all queued up. Yeah, man, I don't. I want to feel something for the Bengals. They have a nice start yesterday. They were making the Colts look not great, and then they just get stomped.
If there's a team of those two that I would like to feel something for, it's probably the Colts. But Phillip Rivers is cooked, man.
Oh my God, yes.
Robo Greg, hi.
You're wired. Move the wire a millimeter to the left.
Yeah,
Greg.
tilt the antenna.
Yeah, I did this earlier too. It's like I imagine Greg's audio setup is like a bunch of like exposed copper wires and like there's
is this
one
any better?
Yeah, that's a lot better. If the one of the copper exposed wires that's like chewed on by your cat just like touches like a bit too much moisture in the air, it shorts and makes it sound like that. But
it's think of like the old on Mad Men when they had the ladies with the switchboards pushing all the pulling all the cables or something like that. Yeah, there you go, something like that.
But I mean, the Colts, they're respectable defense. Offense is doing pretty good. I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs. You would imagine. Anyway. I think they will. I think they'll get in there. I think their defense is good enough.
The AFC's got some good teams though. Finally, there's enough teams in there that I don't know if the Colts can sneak in there. Let me pull up the standings.
Yeah, I'm looking here too. Colts are second in the AFC South.
And remember,
4-2.
the top 7 make the playoffs this year.
Oh,
Mm.
I think they've probably got a decent shot then, right?
Well, let's see. We got the Bills. The Pats are now behind the Dolphins of all fucking teams, so I was counting on them to move in, but I don't know.
Wait, how did that happen?
Miami's 3-3, New England's 2-3. I think because they lost that
Miami?
week to COVID.
Miami is 3-3.
Yeah.
I thought they won their first game yesterday. I mean, I don't pay any attention to the Dolphins because I hate
No,
their
but
uniforms, and that's a good enough reason for me.
They kicked the crap out of the 49ers last week.
Oh, I forgot about that. They did. Yeah. Okay.
And I forget who else they beat before that, but
I can't place it. With the Patriots, I saw a horrifying statistic about the Patriots just to show you how like welcome this change is. They're below 500 in October for the first time since 2002. Fun NFL fact.
As we're going through these teams, maybe the Colts are in there. The thing that I have trouble putting them in is you got the AFC North, you got Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland. So you're probably gonna get 3 teams out of that group.
Oh, let's not get carried away here.
I mean, Cleveland's 4-2 just as much as the Colts are. So I don't think you can count them out.
Yeah, but the Browns. This is going to be a really deep reference that maybe no one will get. But in the book Ball 4, there's a little comic that he talks about, and he says, "Kid's coming home from playing baseball day. A little kid, and he goes, 'How'd you do today?' And he goes, 'I did fine until the big kids showed up.'" And that's the Browns in a nutshell, right there. They were great until they had to play somebody good.
So basically, what it looks like is of the teams in the AFC, the final spot will probably come down to Vegas and Indianapolis, because Bills 1, Pittsburgh and Baltimore 2-3, Tennessee 4, Kansas City 5, and then it's Cleveland, Miami, New England, and Vegas. And because I like the Broncos aren't going to be good enough. The Chargers I thought had a shot at the beginning of the year, but probably not anymore.
No. I don't think the Dolphins are. I don't think you should put them in that conversation.
No, record wise, they're right this second, but I don't think that they'll last. I would assume New England would come back up.
Did Tua play yesterday?
Yeah,
he played garbage time. Yeah.
All right, so he didn't start.
He had like 2 drives, maybe.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, and
how do you look?
He only threw 2 passes. He looked fine.
All right, okay.
Nothing. Like the media was making such a big deal about it that I hadn't seen the game, so I had assumed that Fitzpatrick got hurt in the second quarter and Tua came in and played well, and I'm like, oh, he played like a drive, okay. But it's one of those things where he came back from the injury and it's just amazing that he's even playing at all. And it's like, okay, sure.
Well, that's cool. I think that, man, you get down to that. I'm not even sure that making a 7th playoff team or spot was the best idea, because you're not going to get a very good team in that slot, are you? I mean, what are the odds?
No, you're giving one lesser team a shot and then taking away a bye from another team.
Yeah, you're having to print off a bunch of unnecessary T-shirts and hats. Is really all it is. And I mean, some jerk off team will slip in there, and I mean, obviously, it's the romance of football. At any given Sunday, the lowest team can beat the best squad, and it's plausible that you have some really thick competition between the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the Colts for that final spot. But I really don't want to sleep on the Browns. I think I do not think the Browns are very, like, they're not going to win a championship. Baker Mayfield's the best thing Baker Mayfield can do is act in commercials. He's got that Peyton Manning kind of thing to where he can ham it up on camera just well enough to have a career in advertising and television. But as far as being a quarterback goes, he's pretty mediocre. And the Browns, I think they'll probably get 10 wins, 9-10 wins, and get in there.
Yeah, I mean, we went over their schedule last week, Greg. Like, the Browns' schedule is not difficult.
That's true. That is true.
There are so many cupcakes in that schedule that, like, they just have to be okay, and they should be able to run through those teams that they play. Let me pull it up again, just because it's like the schedule they have is so paper thin. So after this week, if my computer would go quick enough,
Well, here we go.
so next week they're at Cincinnati. That's should be an easy enough game. Like,
Yeah, well, it depends. I mean, as we saw yesterday with the Colts, the Bengals are capable of playing some
Sure.
decent football, but you never know.
Then they play the Raiders. Okay, good team. Bye. And then you have Houston, Philadelphia, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Baltimore,
Jesus.
the Giants, the Jets,
Oh my God!
and then the Steelers.
I mean,
If
yeah.
they Oh, go ahead, Andy.
I say they got the Titans there, but the rest is just like this bad, just all
Yeah.
around, just a parade
Houston,
of
Philly,
shit.
Jacksonville, and then both New York teams, back-to-back weeks, 15 and 16.
If they don't come out of that with at least 9 wins, I mean, come on.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like at minimum, they're a 9-7 team at minimum, and that's right there in the conversation. Now, if you swing the Titans game, let's say, or if you swing that last Steelers game, who knows? Like that's easily a team you can get in.
I mean, if you don't make it with that
Right.
schedule, then you got some serious problem. I mean, that's the Browns. I mean, you could say they've got serious problems about pretty much any given season in their existence, in their modern existence, anyway. But
Right.
but man, I'm looking over here the AFC's. I mean, you got some bad teams. Yeah, the Jets are like the league standard right now of like what it means to be a dreadful, awful shit pile.
Negative 110 point differential.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Negative 110. The next closest is like negative 50.
They are dogs, and I think they and the Bengals are going to be making some trades. I know the Bengals were rumored to be moving some pieces around here this season, but the Jets, though, I think they traded some guy in like the dead of night yesterday. The defensive while they were after the Miami game, and they traded him to the Bucks. So he just rented a car and drove to Tampa, got the fuck out of there, just put his bags in the trunk and said, "Peace out, I'm out of this fucking shithole. Get me to Tampa as soon as humanly possible." I believe it. Greg, move the wire. Greg, move the wire.
All right, hold on.
Jesus, what a weird, horrible, demonic possession he has in that wire.
Better now?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's the internet, guys. I don't think it's necessarily my setup. It's just that because Andy was kind of bouncing in and out there too.
Yeah, Andy sounded like he was in a bubble, and then you were
Right.
wiry, and I don't know what the hell's going on.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Yes.
Michael.
Hello. How's it going?
We're talking about bad football teams here, Mike. And,
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that. So
No, thankfully you and I are among the elite of football fans.
no. Yeah. Both Andy and I are had pretty good weeks.
Yeah.
I guess this is just what happens when you get good uniforms. So.
Well, as I told everybody a couple of weeks ago, we have the Superchargers song, Cleveland Rocks for the Browns, and Ram It. And we also have a song for the Bucks, too, if you guys would like to hear it.
Oh, let's hear.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That's
Catchy, isn't it?
That's big talk from a Packers fan who.
Yeah, well, you know what?
God.
I did not have a good football Sunday yesterday, to put it mildly.
You know what? We need to shut down Mike right here and there because 6 whole weeks with Tom Brady, and you're already one of them. I can't even stand you anymore. Who are you, Mike?
I've embraced the dark side. No.
Mike, show me your strawberries. Show me your strawberries.
I got rid of all of them. Tom said they were bad, and but no. I'm just saying, 150 passes without a pick by Aaron Rodgers, and that's
that's pretty good run.
It was 10-0 at one point.
It was 10-0. That was to lure Aaron Rodgers into a false sense of security. It was
Listen, Mike, I gotta. I just want to let you know here. This team of yours did get punked. What the hell is going on back there?
Sorry, someone gave me a call for some reason.
Oh.
I don't know.
I thought that was you trying to play. I was like, Andy's never this terrible at playing effects. What the hell's going on there?
No, I thought you were power washing something in the yard or in the group.
No. Someone called. I don't know why.
Anyway,
but sorry
all I was saying is Nick Foles beat your Bucks the other day, and just saying, if you're gonna brag, show some respect to BDN and the Chicago Bears.
Well, they won again.
They did. I am looking again with great concern at the. We got to have a conversation. I don't know anybody who's. I mean, I guess I know one person who's sort of a fan of this division. What the hell is going on in the East? The NFC East is just a wasteland. It is. Just,
aren't they? Don't they? They all have at least one win now, though, right?
We're turning on 5G across the country.
Jesus Christ.
What is going on here?
Guys, I don't know what's going on today.
It's audio mayhem.
We got it down. Yeah, I gave more gave.
And there we go.
The NFL website decided it wanted me to hear this Verizon ad really badly. So
I guess so.
This is chaos here tonight.
Right?
Jesus Christ, man. I am so sorry to the people that are listening to this live.
It's all good fun. Yep.
There we go.
We're hitting morning drive levels of
so we're getting a little morning zoo-ish, aren't we? Yeah, that's true. So I will back off on the sound.
No,
I mean, some of the listeners wanted it to come back, but I thought, well, doing it live is almost impossible. And then I found a soundboard place. I'm like, oh, we can do it live.
Yeah. It's fine in moderation.
Yeah, you need
a lot of sounds right now.
You need to add some variety to it, and you don't. The thing is, you want to stay away from like a good rich fart sound because then you're just gonna be dumping that every 5 minutes. And
yeah, I don't even have that. But I just want one more while we're talking about the NFC East.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, all right, there we go.
Yeah, well,
all right. I will lay off the soundboard for now.
I think Zach,
the Cowboys lose tonight. Hopefully.
Zach is like gonna wake up. Like I think whenever he signs into the show, he has like a nightmare of like this being like you're listening to DJ and the Bear and like just like some shitty like let's get a traffic and weather report. Hi Stacey, how's it going this morning? Oh, it's looking great out there. Oh man, it's just like I can see where
all right
76 is all clogged up. Oh boy. Yeah, fart noise. Jesus. Yes, the Valiant NFC East. All mucked up thanks to the Giants' first win over football team.
Called that.
Which is good. The more they cannibalize each other, the better chance we have at that 6-11 division champ.
I think 6-10 or bust, baby.
6-10
or bust. There we go.
For that to be the case, I really think we need this Cardinals team to win tonight.
I'm pulling for them.
Because the Cowboys get to that third win with an out of division win, we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, they're halfway home at that point, and that's not good. We can't have them at 3 wins this early in the season. It's got to be a couple more weeks yet.
A good 1-4-1, 1-5, 1-5, 2-4 division is just chef's kiss. Let's do it.
That would be perfect.
I mean, we're not the only ones to make the joke, but like seriously, can we just nullify the entire NFC East and give their one playoff spot to just someone else?
Well, you know what's going to be the real tragedy is that somebody in that division, I mean the Cowboys, is going to get to host a playoff team that's going to be like 4 games better than them.
No. And meanwhile, the NFC West, which has at least 3 good teams.
All of the teams have 3 wins.
All of the teams, I'm still not entirely sold on the Cardinals, to be perfectly honest. But like, you got the NFC West, who have again at least 3 good teams, arguably 4 good teams, and only at most 2 are going to make the playoffs. Meanwhile,
I think 3 will get in.
Don't forget, Mike, we've got an extra playoff slot this year. There's
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, still, one team from the NFC West is going to probably have to stay home while one team from the NFC East gets to go, and it's going to be such bullshit.
Yeah,
well, it will be, but yeah, I mean, we've had 7 and 9 division champions a couple times. I know
the 11-win Patriots didn't make it that one.
Right. I can go back to I think the Browns won the division in '85. They were 8-8, and 11-5 Denver stayed home that year. Well, Denver, of course, paid that back in full the next 2 seasons, but in that one year, they were 11-5 and stayed home while the Browns at 8-8 got in. So it happens, and people will lose their shit when it does. and start talking about realigning everything and all that. And it's just one of those things, the East is just really bad right now.
I don't know if it's like if people are conditioned by college football to where it's like I want my prize and I want my reward. Put us in the earwax bowl out in Boise, Idaho, or something. Like they want some sort of prize for playing. It's like, man, this is the NFL. Sometimes this shit happens. It's happened for 40, 50 years or whatever it's been. Like there's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes screws you over. It pretty much will always happen, at least, once or twice in your specific fandom. I mean, the Bears were 10-6 and missed the playoffs about, 15 years ago or something, and fired the coach.
And Andy still hasn't let it go.
Oh, well, the Cleveland Browns went
Wow. Okay. Robot again.
Yeah, I don't know, Greg. Yeah, I don't know, Greg, man. You need to
Oh, he's gone. Up there.
No, he's
I'm back. I shut off.
What is happening?
It's live radio, baby. That's what's happening.
I'm taking myself out of the stream so I can adjust things without it being on the air. That's why it keeps happening. All right. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Steven.
Anyway,
is it Steven Iannuzzi or Iannucci?
Yeah, he's asking what our NFC playoff guess is so far. I
think it'll happen probably. The playoffs.
The NFC playoffs.
Yeah, I think probably going to happen. Yeah.
Well,
it's 2020 after all. Come on.
I think you can look at the standings right now and safely say Chicago and Green Bay, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Seattle, and then I would assume the Rams, but if they play like they did yesterday, then I don't know what the hell they're going to do. And then it's kind of a toss-up between the 49ers, maybe the Panthers competing. They're 3-3. Do the Lions make a late run? They have some offense. They have some offense. They almost beat your vaunted Bears.
So did a lot of teams. So did every team they played.
Guys, we've been having this at week 5. We've had this discussion about the Lions every year at week 5. Every year, week 5. We have a discussion about the Lions.
I do want to point out something, though, since we're talking about standings, and of course, this is kind of deviating from the NFC, but let's talk about how
the Bills are on the precipice of a bit of a slump. And two losses in 6 days.
No. And I just want to point out, Greg and I said this, when everyone was high on the Bills. It's like, it's Buffalo. They're 4-0 now, but you never know. And
but look, the game they played against the Titans, I think that more proved the Titans are the real deal, and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they were a playoff team last year, but I still wasn't convinced of them. They did exactly what they needed to do against the Bills, but the Titans also hadn't played in 2 weeks, and it's this weird Tuesday COVID nonsense. So I don't really put that one on the Bills. This one again is against a really damn good team in Kansas City, and
that lost to Vegas.
That lost to Vegas, but Vegas is proving to be not that bad either. So I don't want to throw the Bills under the bus quite yet. They play the Jets next week, which isn't a real football game. That's another bye week.
That's
right.
The Jets aren't a real football team. So,
but then the real test is up until that real bye, where they play New England, Seattle, and at Arizona, going into the bye.
Mm-hmm.
If the Bills come out of that, I guess they're going to be 4-2. So
after tonight,
and then they'd be 5-2 after beating the Jets. So,
has
anybody noticed that with the Jets that they were not good before they changed uniforms, and since they've changed into those god awful uniforms, they're as bad as I've ever seen them.
This is the Jets are on the precipice of a true 2015 to 2018 Cleveland Browns-esque run where they had 2 wins in 3 years or some shit. That could very easily be the Bills if they keep trending the way that they're trending. So, I mean, not the Bills, sorry, the Jets.
I was gonna say, whoa, that's the hottest fucking take I've ever heard.
No, although
the Bills are gonna lose the rest of their games.
Yeah, no, not the Bills,
and all of next season.
And all of next season. But yeah, it's looking like the Jets could be the next butt monkey of the NFL, and
because not only are they losing games, they're not they're not competitive. Like
no, they got the Dolphins of all teams like shut them out.
Like they were slightly competitive in that Denver game, but that
Denver kind of sucks too. So what does that?
Right,
Oh, dude, they don't kind of suck. They totally suck.
So like again, like I'm the schedule guy, I guess, but they play the Bills next week, then the Chiefs, then the Pats, then the Chargers, Dolphins, Raiders, Seahawks, Rams, Browns, Patriots again. Like, ugh. So they could be ticketed straight to that 0-16.
I mean, that'd be nice to have somebody else do that shortly. After. I mean, it'd be nice not to be the last team that's gone 0-16 for once or for a while.
Say what? It was the Lions and the Browns were the last two to go 0-16.
Yeah.
And they had like a good 5 years between them, something to that effect.
Yeah, and the Browns threatened the 0-16 mark plenty of times before that.
Well, I mean, it's again like there's 0-16. I feel like anytime we see a team that kind of emanates that 0-16 vibe, it's really, really easy from a journalist or football observer standpoint to be like, this is the worst team I've ever seen. They don't even care. They don't even try. They're unprepared, all this stuff. But I feel like the Jets are really trying to like break the mold of what it means to be a clusterfuck shit organization.
Well, to defend Greg's Browns there, that 0-16 campaign, like there were a couple close games that they could have won, which honestly made the march to 0-16 kind of exciting because it was kind of like a week by week thing. It's like the Browns rallied and pushed it to overtime and then they lost. But
I think the difference too is the Browns were losing on purpose, right?
Yeah, they're tanking. Yeah.
Like to a degree, they were trying to be as bad as they could be. They didn't want to lose 16 games and be an embarrassment, but they wanted to lose and get those draft picks and rebuild. I don't think the Jets are doing this on purpose.
No, this is just what happens. This is what happens when you have Adam Gase as your coach. Like Adam, Hugh Jackson and Adam Gase truly are like a match made in heaven. Like, wouldn't it be great to just get those two on a coaching staff? Like,
Adam Gase at head coach, and they're starting Joe Flacco right now because Darnold's hurt. Like,
I saw, I think it was on, I don't know where I saw it, was a tweet or something somewhere where somebody said, "Who's the worst coach in the NFL, and why is it Adam Gase?" They're like,
Because who was the Lions when they were 0-16? I can't remember. It was
Jim Schwartz, wasn't it?
Jim Schwartz. No. And that was kind of an unfair.
No, wasn't Schwartz the guy who came in after?
I'm sorry, Rod Marinelli probably was.
Yeah, Schwartz was the guy who they got to fix it.
So Rod Marinelli, like good coach. Like he's since been with the Cowboys and the Bears, and he's had very respected tenures and widely respected around the league.
He's a very good defensive coach.
Yeah, and Hugh Jackson, however, is just a horse's ass, and like nobody likes him. Nobody wants to hire him. All his coaches hated him. All his players hated him. And it's just one of those things where it's like, how the hell did you get a job? And to the point of how bad of a coach he is, I don't think he's been hired since. I think he's had like.
Well, no, he was the assistant to the regional manager in Cincinnati after.
That doesn't count.
That was unpaid too, I believe, Mike. I don't think he got paid for that. It was just just to hang out with Marvin Lewis for a while, basically.
Yeah, he was just there to get some free catering and take some of it home afterward, just so he'd have something to eat for a few weeks. But this with Adam Gase, though, like Adam Gase was very heralded for his time with Peyton Manning in Denver, and then he came to Chicago when he quote unquote fixed Jay Cutler, and then he went. But then as soon as he went to Miami, there were people that were lauding about how he's modernizing the Dolphins, like the way they handle like injuries and preparation and training and all that stuff. But then it just kind of kept coming out that, you know what, this guy just sucks. I don't want, like, as far as like being a person, just nobody wants to play for him. They don't feel like he's just a very unnatural human being. He's very much like an alien or a lizard in a human suit who happens.
Whoa, Robo Greg.
Yeah, in and out, Greg. But that's the trend, though. And now in New York, I think a lot of people previous to him being hired in New York were baffled that he was even considered because they knew from conference for division experience how bad of a coach he was.
Well, I remember when Adam Gase got fired from the Dolphins job, and people were like, "Oh, okay, well he's gone, obviously, because that was a disaster." And then like it wasn't even that long. It was like maybe a week later. I think it was more like a couple of days later. Like the Jets announced him as their new head coach, and at the time, people were laughing at it. Like, why? It's just I just don't understand.
It didn't make any sense then. It didn't follow the trend that was occurring around the league, where you had a lot of younger coaches that were sort of these like offensive minds that were really rising to the forefront. And Gase, he wasn't that. He's never been that. He's just sort of been a steady-ish, okay offensive mind who, unfortunately, when given this level of authority and power, just sucks all the ass and is terrible from all perspectives.
To go back to what you were mentioning, Andy, about Adam Gase and sort of his journey through the league, it's like, oh, people vaunted him for his time in Denver. It's like, look, man, you can't really say a guy's a good offensive coordinator when he's got, Peyton Manning, behind center, right? Like, it's sort of like when Barry Melrose got a lot of credit for being like a good hockey mind. It's like, yeah, he coached Wayne Gretzky. All right, congratulations. It's easy to look good when you have one of the best of all time to rely on.
And not only, it's more exaggerated with Manning because Manning routinely called his own plays.
Yeah, Manning is famous for being the guy who calls the shots on the offenses that he was in.
Even as height in Indianapolis, when he had better coaching staffs, he was given 3 plays to go to the line with, and then he would pick which one he wanted.
Yeah,
a run to the left, a run to the right, or a pass, and he got to dictate the offense how he wanted to, which. It's pretty easy to give a quarterback, hey, I drew up some plays. Maybe you use a few of them. Maybe you don't. Whatever. Just test them out. And then the quarterback does what he wants with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It is amazing just how bad this Jets team is. But as Stephen Iannuzzi in our chat also pointed out again, they did get an incredible ass interception yesterday.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Which was pretty cool.
Boy, they did an ass thing again?
Does it make up for the butt fumble? I don't know, but they got a butt.
No, it does. First of all, because they still lost, so it doesn't. Like, if they get an ass interception and they win, then okay, then it makes up for the butt fumble. But
they got the buttception, so that's
fun for them, I guess.
I had a fun little bit of memory lane trip the other day. I was watching a guy who was playing Madden 2008, just for whatever reason, and he was. It was kind of interesting. He was playing as the Colts, and it reminded me again because of Peyton Manning and the Colts and the Tom Moore offense, where he audibled like 80 times before the snap. And I remember it just really irritated the shit out of me then, and it immediately made me irritated again watching it in video game form because it's like, just snap the fucking ball. Like you sit there and you make 20 changes, and I get it. It's part of the game. It's kill, change. But then it's just with Peyton Manning, it was almost a meme before memes were really a thing. But
it was horrible. I used to hate watching him. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but all that stuff at the line, it got to the point where it was like, will you just snap the fucking ball and shut up? He was calling the
entire offense. He was literally telling every single player what job to do.
Yeah, and then they'd hand the ball up to Edgerrin James to get 2 yards. It was like, all that for a fucking 2-yard run to the right, really, dude? Come on.
They're controlling the flow of the game.
Yeah, what they were doing was driving me fucking nuts. Is what they were doing.
Omaha.
Right? Yeah.
No. Well, let's say we'll keep an eye on the.
The Bills just made a third down or a stop here. So.
All right.
Score? You buried those Bills. They're only down by 6 late in the fourth quarter here. But oh no, that's going to be called back. That fumble is down, unfortunately. But anyway, they're making it a close game at the very least.
We've been getting kind of lucky here with COVID stuff because I was kind of waiting for the Titans to get like the hammer dropped on them for a little while there because there's lots of rumors going around about how the NFL is going to just spring the smackdown punishments. I think they're just going to find them.
Did you see the way that they reacted after the game on Tuesday? Some of the videos that they got of them on the field on social media. They were like, "Oh, they all hated us. They held us down. They hated us." It's like, yeah, dude, you shut down an entire schedule for a few days. Like it's not a they hate us because they ain't us thing. There's not like some conspiracy against you. It's no, your guys went out and got a pandemic disease.
They really used that, like they hate us because of that. Really?
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow. What the hell did they expect?
Well, I mean, it's the NFL, man. This is typical head coach lowest denominator crap where you're trying to like, and nothing against
motivate people.
Nothing against Mike Vrabel. He's turned out to be a pretty good head coach, and it seems to be a good leader for them and all that stuff. But it's just the dumbest. It's one of the dumbest, easiest things to be like, listen, guys, league wants to hate. They're hating on us. So we're going to get out there and we're going to show them that they can't shut us down. We're going to live our truth or some nonsense. And then, you know, there's no consequences for it. It's just, it's very confusing. I've always hated this throughout all of the, my being a sports fan is in football, particularly the NFL, where you have a team that says like, that criticizes the media or that says this or that. And says, you know, you guys, you're always having after us. You're always trying to hate on us or stop what we're doing. It's like, we're going to overcome. We're going to beat you. You're the enemy. And it's like, you're football players. Just play football. And, you know,
well, it's switching sports here for a moment, but that was what was so enraging about the Astros.
See you later, assholes.
Yeah, they're gone now, so fuck you guys. But like, you know, the Astros.
Sorry.
But like the Astros were just, you know, it's like nobody believes in us. Everyone, everybody hates you because you were caught cheating.
What are you say that we won a series now? Like, you still cheated your way to the World Series? I don't know what you think.
Yeah, we don't believe in you because you cheated. So of course we don't believe in you, and we don't like you because you cheated.
It's like
this isn't rocket science. It's pretty easy to figure out.
They just completely. It's almost like they've taken the understanding of what it means to be like. It's like no, you're not interpreting how we despise you.
Yeah,
like it's not contempt like cardinal contempt or something like that, to where you're.
But
just
they were doing that from the day they got, you know, all the sanctions against them. Like you remember their owner was just like. Basically saying that they didn't regret anything they did. It's just like, what are you talking about? You cheated your way to the World Series. You got your general manager, your manager fired. You got another manager fired. You got two managers fired on other teams. What are you talking about?
You got to fuck up pretty good to get somebody fired 2 teams over, right?
Yeah. and they just kind of said like, oh, you know, we're going to let this banner fly forever, but we don't regret what we did, even though we may have definitely cheated. Like, what? I don't understand you.
what's
Patrick
really
Mahomes things, by the way.
Of course, it makes me ill to think about.
This one out.
So it's odd about, speaking of that, with the baseball side of things. I mean, as far as the World Series goes, whatever. But the Boston Red Sox, I guess, are apparently looking for. They might bring back Alex Cora, and it's almost like he just got suspended for a year or something.
Are you kidding? He was the guy that orchestrated the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
and you're going to just let him get off for a year? Come on.
Yeah, it's almost like they're treating it like a time served kind of deal. To where
that's absurd.
But hold on, we need to double check. So Tampa Bay in the World Series, the Miami Heat obviously failed in the incredible charge that was. Yeah. So that I forgive. Obviously, we can't melt down that cup and add it to the Horcrux pile
but here now we're in an interesting spot because who beat the Heat? The Lakers. Who was playing the Rays? The LA Dodgers.
Oh,
wait a minute though. No. So we need to remember, where did the Lakers beat the Heat?
Orlando.
So technically, the championship was won in Florida.
Sure.
And wait, the Super Bowl takes place in Tampa.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So it doesn't matter. So if Tampa Bay
wins the World Series,
I mean, yeah, obviously Tampa Bay won it in Canada for the Cup.
Yeah.
So we got to. I can move the goalposts here a little bit to satisfy this. But conspiracies abound here. I mean, I'm gonna be genuinely disturbed if later this year, like like 5 minutes after Florida team raises a championship, breaking news: coronavirus cure found, like it's in the dissolved mercury of some molten metal inside of the cup.
Are you saying that the general managers of the Tampa Bay area, the front offices, are QAnon?
I'm not going to say no. I think it's a possibility.
Good, like any good conspiracy theorist, Andy. Deny the accusations. Good job.
I don't even know what those are. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
I mean, look, we can either say it's the Florida conspiracy to get all their teams to win, or if the Lakers and Dodgers both win, is it an LA conspiracy to get them to win? I mean, the Rams might be a playoff team. Could they throw a wrench into this and maybe bring the conspiracy cup back to Southern California?
So just to be clear, the Tampa Bay and Dodgers series, that took place in Texas, right?
It will take place in Arlington, Texas. Yeah,
it's taking place in the giant barn,
the giant grill,
in the barbecue. Yes,
the giant barbecue. Yeah.
Okay.
The pole barn.
Right. Okay, so that needs to be won by the Rays for the
the Rays need to. Yes.
Okay.
Very
well.
Rays Dodgers. That's an interesting.
Rays Dodgers. I learned today the highest combined winning percentage between two World Series opponents in World Series history.
Yeah, both top seeds.
They only played 60 games, though, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about percentage. Percentage.
Okay, fine.
Percentage, not win.
Percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't too surprising because I think that everybody thought the Rays were going to be good this year, so it wasn't a shock that they got here.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers, and now we're at the pole barn. And I think it's hilarious that the Rays get in the World Series, probably their better chance of winning it than they had in 2008. And the one season where it's going to do them absolutely no good whatsoever because they can't play at home. No one can go see them. And they're going to win it this year because it won't help them a bit.
Also interesting, interesting / fun thing. Atlanta again. Another glorious choke job by an Atlanta-based team.
It was 3-1. And as the MGM sports betting Twitter put out, after Game 2, when the Braves were up 2-0, teams that led 2-0 in the NLCS were 28-3 all time.
Make it 28-4.
Well, no, but Greg, 28-3.
28-3.
Oh, get out!
He played the X-Files music again.
Hold on, yeah, all right, here we go.
Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati confirminati. Hey,
what did Atlanta do to have this level of crap hurled at them?
It's funny. I don't remember before that Super Bowl. I don't ever remember Atlanta being on like the list of like most suffering sports cities. Like it had always sort of just like people talk about like Cleveland or Buffalo, stuff like that. But then since then, what have we had? The Falcons blew that lead in the Super Bowl.
Go back to
University of Georgia,
right?
Blew the national title game against Alabama.
Yeah, people forget about that.
Yeah, and then we've had the Falcons continuously degrading, including 2 blown leads this season, and
not to mention this last decade kicked off with the Thrashers leaving.
The Thrashers left Atlanta, yeah.
And if you want to talk about the Braves for a second, let's go back. I think they went to the World Series every year from 1991 until like 2000, and they won one time. Which I guess it's kind of hard to say that that's failure, but
then again they didn't just lose to the Dodgers. They had a 3-1 series lead against the Dodgers, and they couldn't. Not only did they have a 3-1 series lead, they were leading in Game 7.
Yeah. It's not simply the Atlanta teams losing; it's them losing in these great circumstances where they led by a bunch. Like I think Georgia was up 20-3 in the third quarter over Bama when they lost the national championship game in Atlanta. And then obviously the Falcons 28-3, and now the Braves here 3-1, and it's just like, in any other year, you look at the Dodgers being down 3-1, it's like, oh, the Dodgers are the ones that are choking again. Look at them, these great teams that can't get it done in the playoffs, and the only way that they could get it done in the playoffs is by going up against an Atlanta team.
An Atlanta team who can choke in ways the Dodgers never even considered.
Was anybody surprised though? I mean, when it got to be 3-2, I'm like, well, this is over. The Dodgers are going to win the series. Yeah, I mean, you just knew it.
Not like, but it's interesting. How did any of you guys watch Game 7?
I watched a little bit of it here and there. Yeah.
So like the Braves had about as good of a start to Game 7 as you could possibly have, and again, they were even up 2-0 at one point, and they blew it. Like, they didn't just have a 3-1 series lead; they had a lead in the deciding game and just could not, for whatever reason, put it away.
Robot. I'll be back in a second.
I was thinking about what could have taken place in Atlanta to cause this kind of curse to occur. And I looked back to 1998, and there was the NFC Championship game where the Vikings, which were like probably the best team, one of the best teams in the NFL that year, if not the best, and they miss a potentially game-sealing field goal or game-winning field goal. I can't remember the context. And then Morton Anderson won the game for the Falcons in overtime. I believe there was some sort of soul exchange or some kind of demonic prayer uttered during that event. Like, please, Lord, let my Falcons go to the Super Bowl. Please, dark, evil Satan, I will bequeath my children to give me a championship game against John Elway and the Broncos. And or was the Broncos? Right. Yeah.
It was the Broncos. Yeah.
And I feel like there was something like the Dark Lord heard the prayer of Jimbo and some Falcons fans and like made that bargain, and the monkey's paw curled. And from there on, like, the Falcons have just been this. I mean, they've had some ups, but they've never brought it home. And the whole, I guess they've had the Thrashers left since then.
Yeah,
Thrashers left. The Hawks have constantly had like first round defeats.
Yep.
Well, and let's not forget too, going back to that 1998 game, that Gary Anderson, the kicker for the Vikings, had not missed all season in that game.
Oh, right.
Never had not missed I don't think a field goal or an extra point the whole season.
That sounds correct. Yeah.
No, that was like I remember it was a huge. I actually remember watching that game. I was only 11 at the time, but still, watching this football game, and it's like, they're going to win this because, they have a kicker who doesn't miss. And then he did. And it was just like the absolute, it was just like the absolute
worst.
Yeah.
You know what? The thing that sucks, like every time we get like, okay, this will be a great matchup, the defending champion Broncos versus the best team in the NFC, the Vikings. And some team inevitably comes along and fucks it up. And that was the Falcons. Maybe this is their penance for that.
Maybe
a long, hard price to pay.
Well, and it's one of those things where it's like, the defending champs versus the best team in the league. That would have been really cool. And it's like the Falcons are like, nope, we're going to go. It's like, okay, Falcons, are you at least going to like provide us a really good football game? No, we're going to get our asses handed to us by the Broncos.
And our guy that won like this humanitarian award is going to get busted for soliciting prostitution the night before the game too. While we're at it.
Yeah.
Listen in to Basically a Sports Show, while in 2020 we dedicate 15 minutes to 1998.
To the 1998 Super Bowl.
Hey, you know what? The people that are here know the risks coming in, so it's just the way it goes.
Before we get too far away from football-y stuff, did you want to do the wheel so we can get caught up for next week?
Oh, yeah. Well, here, I actually have music for the wheel this week. Are you guys ready? Here we go. Oh, boy. Nice, right?
Hey.
Classy.
Okay, it was the Wheel of Fortune thing, but all right, here we go. All right, we need to share Andy here. Okay.
All right, so we've got. Let's spin. What is the name of it's supposed to be, Mike? You actually
spin the wheel, make the deal.
Okay, so this is for Zach. Zach will be picking Bucks Raiders. Exactly.
Ooh,
Sunday night football from Vegas. Boy,
from the Death
That's a tough
Star.
one.
Could even be fun if people were allowed to go.
Yeah, why is that everybody else is allowing fans, but there's like a couple places that aren't?
I think it has to do with like local restrictions.
Okay.
Local and state rules. Like, Texas has had fans for a good while now. Florida
From the
has.
start. Yeah, from the start, the Cowboys have had fans. Yeah. Anyway, all right, go ahead, Zach. Make your pick. Hello,
Zach.
They may do it for the very next home game. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it's on a case by case basis. It's not like a blanket rule.
He's answering a question from like 5 minutes ago, but that's okay.
Zach,
Go ahead.
Who are you picking?
Who are
to
you
win?
picking?
Sorry. I'm picking.
Okay, we'll come back to Zach while he plays with Legos or whatever it is he's doing there.
Sorry, I'm fidgeting with something. It's I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
This is Mike's pick. Mike will be picking between Chiefs at Broncos.
Ooh, that should be an easy one, Mike. Come on.
Chiefs. There you go. Next.
All right. We'll remove that one. Chiefs at Broncos. Okay. All right, this is for me. I will be picking. Panthers at Saints. That's a tough one. Damn. Without knowing the history or anything, I'm going to go with the Panthers. I think they'll get a nice recovery victory after a weird and frustrating loss.
Is Drew Brees' arm going to be healthy enough to throw 12 yards? We'll find out.
Yeah, apparently it's up debate. It's about time. He needs to get the hell out of the league. Come on, old man. Just get out of here. All right. Same thing with Tom. Just leave. All right.
Bills are done, by the way.
Browns and Bengals.
That's like I keep getting my Browns. It's like the second time.
Greg gets the Ohio Bowl.
Yeah, lucky me, huh? I'm gonna say, and I don't know if I'm just trying to do the reverse jinx here or what, but that's next week, right?
Yes.
I'm going with the Cincinnati Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, baby.
All right. So coming into this week, by the way, and we're still waiting on Mike's results since Cardinals Cowboys is going to be starting up here shortly. It appears that it is a closely contested thing. Greg and Zach. I'm sorry. Yeah, Greg is perfect. He's 3-0 so far with his picks. Zach and myself are both 2-1. Mike is currently 1-1. So we'll see how things go tonight. So,
come on, Cardinals! Don't fuck it up. Look, there's a lot riding on this for me. I got my wheel pick. That's obviously exciting. But I'm also, I'm like you guys. I want that 6-10 NFC East champion, and that's going to get harder if the Cowboys somehow manage to derp their way to a victory tonight. So,
where is this game being played tonight?
Dallas, I believe.
It's in Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
But Kyler Murray is going to run all over that pathetic defense the Cowboys have, so that'll be easy to do. They just got to score a lot of points. They'll be all right.
The problem.
And remember, the Cowboys have Andy Dalton.
Yeah, that is true.
I forgot about that.
I was gonna go on about how I'm worried about the Cardinals' defense because they don't have a defense because they are basically a Big 12 team. And so they don't have their defense isn't that great. But then I remembered that they're going up against Andy Dalton, so they should be fine.
Right. I agree. I think we'll be okay. We gotta have a Cardinals win because we've got to get 6-10 in the NFC East. Just because it would be perfect. I would love it so much.
No, just maybe a dumb question, but I have to. I don't know for sure. So there's 7 teams making the playoffs, and it's not like it's like including there are going to be division winners. It's not, but like if you win the division,
yeah, they had an extra
Greg.
Damn it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You gotta like consult the Oracle there to figure out that weird shit.
Light some sage.
Well, Well, yeah. So there's the 4 division winners and then 3 wild cards, and I'm not entirely sure how it breaks down, but I think they've changed it to that now. It's only the first overall seed gets a bye.
Only the top seed in each conference gets the bye.
So just to clarify, so the NBA and the NHL, do they both do it where there's just conferences and the top whatever teams win make the playoffs?
Well, no. The NHL's playoff system is stupid. So the NHL has each conference has 2 divisions. In the NHL, the top 3 from each division make the playoffs, plus 2 wild card teams from each conference.
Okay.
And then the NBA, I think, just does straight 1 to 6, 1 to 8.
Yeah.
Which is probably how everyone should do it, but you know what happens.
Like the NBA amended their rules where, in theory, if a division winner is somehow the 9th best team, I don't think they make it.
Yeah, no, the NBA did away with division winners automatic, because I think the NBA used to have it that the division winners automatically got the top slots, but then they did away with that.
The division winner, it used to be the top 3 automatically got the top 3 spot, or the division winners got the top 3 no matter what. And then what would happen is you had plenty of seasons where like the 4th or 5th seed was better than the 3rd team. So then they adjusted the rule to say like, okay, they'll still get home field advantage, but like if the 4th seed is better, they can move to 3. And then I think they did away with it altogether.
What's the point of having divisions then?
There isn't.
Scheduling probably, and maybe tiebreakers, I would think.
Yeah, we talked about this before. We're like, there's no such thing as division rivalries in basketball. You're just the good teams are rivals with the other good teams. That's just kind of how it goes.
And then the NHL has done the thing where they have gone heavily on the division to choose the playoff teams, and they've been trying to like foster division rivalries. The problem is that sometimes the matchups just get repetitive.
And I don't even want to start explaining to you guys the MLS rules where literally teams can qualify in the other conference. An Eastern Conference team could make the Western Conference playoffs.
Oh no, that happens in the CFL. That happens in the CFL, yeah.
Yeah. We just happened last season, right?
Yeah, crossover.
We talked about it.
That's even stupider because there's only like 6 teams. Why even have other playoff rounds? Why not just
don't you dare say anything bad about the CFL?
I think
Zachary.
I think the CFL playoff structure sucks.
It is. Look, there's nothing better than watching the BC Lions play in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I completely agree.
When the BC Lions go 2-7, playing the Eastern Conference Final, and somehow make the Grey Cup. It all makes sense.
Come on, that's beautiful.
It all makes sense.
Look, beautiful. and then they win the Grey Cup by getting a rouge. Okay, like Canadian football is a beautiful thing.
Out of their own end zone, they get 1 point. Yeah.
It's a That's 9 teams in the CFL. Thank you, Chaos Blast. Yes.
Right.
There's an expansion now. Well, Halifax is getting it on the map.
The Halifax will make it 10 if they can actually build the stupid stadium, which I feel bad for them because it's like the CFL basically said you can have a team if you build a stadium, and then there was of course the local wrangling between the team and the officials to try to see who would pay for the most of it. But then COVID happened, so I don't know where that even is.
And Zach, if you don't stop making fun of the CFL, I'm going to mute you. I'm just telling you right now.
My internet will do that to me at some point.
How dare you mock a league that includes the Ottawa Red Blacks?
I love the CFL. I just think the playoff structure is dumb.
The playoff structure. I don't. Look, it's just one of these stupid things that you just accept because it's always been there.
Imagine a world where, like, you say, man, the NFC, the rest of the AFC is so bad. We're gonna let the last place team in the NFC West make it as the 7th team in the AFC, because
that has not happened. But I promise you, if we get our 6-10 winner in the NFC East this year, someone's going to suggest exactly that, and that's someone. Lots of people will.
Yeah, it'd be really dumb. Yeah. Because like we just said with the NBA and divisions, if you're not going to adhere to the structure, why the hell bother having the structure?
It looks better on a website, I guess. I don't know.
You can
I
sell.
really don't.
You can sell division champion merchandise.
Yeah.
I love when
We
I
went 38 and 44 this year.
I have
Division
seen
champs.
someone wearing a Lakers Pacific Division champion shirt.
Why would you do that?
I don't
Why?
know. I think it must have been given out for free somewhere.
Well, what year was it? Was it from this year?
Oh no, it was from a while ago.
Well, I
Like,
remember. I remember for a while, the Raptors only banner was like a single Atlantic Division championship banner, and it was just like.
Well, like even in hockey, like when the Ducks were winning like 5 divisions in a row, they would put division championship gear out, and it's like.
No,
And it's like
well,
a division locker room tee. It's like the players didn't wear this; they don't give a damn. What do you?
I have very strict standards when it comes to banners across all sports, really. My belief is you only get to put a banner up for it if you got a trophy for it. Like, you know,
that's a little harsh. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a banner. It's a fabric little flag. It doesn't.
Look. If we don't take these hard stances, then the San Jose Sharks and Nashville Predators of the world will just keep putting up bullshit.
Well, like I think divisions. I think you could have a division championship banner, and then what you do is what some teams have done, where you just add new years onto it until it's full.
Yeah, that's okay, I suppose. Yeah, I
That
agree
one's
with that.
because otherwise you do get teams that you win the division 12 years in a row, but you don't actually win the championship.
Well, going back to the baseball discussion we were having, the Atlanta Braves had 12 straight, NL Central championship banners, and then they won one World Series out of that whole thing.
Well, okay, so I don't fault any fans for wearing division conference or whatever. Like if they want to wear that stuff as fans, I think that's totally cool.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it in and of it. I don't have a problem with the gear in and of itself. I'm just saying, if you're a Lakers fan, why would you bother with a division champion?
I was more offended that they made the shirt.
Come on, man. I mean, it's. I mean, yeah. Well, it's easy for you to say as a Laker fan who considers winning the division is like wiping your feet at the door. Like,
yes.
I
was kind of mad you weren't here last week, Andy, because I know you would have just cringed at my Lakers.
Zach was in peak Laker douchebag form last
Yeah,
week.
he sure was.
That's our whole mission statement.
It's like, Miami just should have been happy they got to share a court.
Miami should have been pleased that they were just there to be the little mouse to our cat.
They're being happy about where they got, but they're not 17-time champion. Sorry.
But no, I mean,
lifetime, Andy.
Just to perhaps pump Zach's tires up more. I was just gonna make a joke. It's like you can wear a division shirt if you are a Clippers fan.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Greg.
Huh?
Your mic's doing the thing in.
Oh God.
Oh wait, you're.
Yeah.
It
always seems
okay now.
Yeah, it always seems to get better after you swear or blaspheme. So maybe there's some sort of.
Well, then I'll just keep swearing and blaspheming. Who cares what happens to my eternal soul as long as we keep the show on track?
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, no. If you're a Clippers fan, go on and wear your division banner because it ain't getting better.
I the Clippers to raise their stupid Pacific Division banner.
They don't want to because they're gonna get made fun of because it's gonna be 17 Lakers banners and then
the Kings put up their dish rags up in the banners forever too, but they didn't win anything until recently.
Yeah.
But they technically also own the building while the Lakers rent it. But
I think the problem here is a matter of happenstance and standards. So while to people like Zach, whose farts smell like roses, and
only the basketball part, only the basketball ones.
But I mean, if
I would love to
hang
a division banner. That's fine.
Well, it's disgusting and offensive if your home, if your vaunted Lakers don't simply put up a temporary sticker for winning the division or whatever. For other teams, it is
that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is, Andy, you can appreciate this too as a Blackhawks fan. If you ever saw the rafters of Joe Louis Arena, when you're the Detroit Red Wings, you have 11 Stanley Cups. Why do you have Western Conference regular season championship banners? You're a great team. You don't need to sully yourself.
I mean, so if we're talking about banners, if we're just talking about banners, like then that I don't know how you standardize that, because obviously, like with certain teams, like baseball, they do pennants, and like hockey and basketball, they hang banners. But like, you know, how do you go about changing that? Because like obviously, if it's a division banner or something, yeah, make it a little tiny thing, or like you said, you can use your imagination and go wild with it, make it relatively insignificant. But like, we can't all be the Detroit Red Wings.
No, I know, but I think it's on a case by case basis, right? Like even take the Angels for example. The Angels have only won one title. They've only been to one World Series, but out in center field they have 3 different flag poles with a flag for each time they won, you know, a division, or I don't even know if they had wild card banners out there, but anyway. I think it looks a little unkempt, where like they have all these division banners that are kind of flapping around, and it looks like a mess. Whereas like you could shrink that down and put all the divisions in tiny little numbers. You can make a big giant flag for every time you win the World Series, because that's a big deal. But when you win the division, just add another number to the flag you already have, and if you win the World Series, put up another flagpole for all I care. But the smaller things, just, you know, consolidate them.
Speaking of
I just wanted to point out something that's quite interesting. The Blue Jays have a very interesting banner situation.
Theirs is odd, yeah.
They have banners for the times they've won the AL East and the World Series, but no AL pennant.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's when they win the World Series, they don't bother putting up the AL pennant because
they've never won the
Series
AL pennant.
Yeah,
both times they won the pennant. So yeah, that's why that is. Yeah,
I feel like there should be some sort of I don't know what kind of decoration or award it would be or something. There needs to be something for any professional sports team that's been featured in a movie. Like they need to have like some sort of like universal like symbolic thing where it's like. A star in front of the stadium or something where it's like, the Cleveland Indians, yes, Major League. I love that one. That one's, you know, some sort of film reel or something. That's like
Charlie Sheen statue.
The Indians were
wearing his glasses. Yeah,
maybe not.
The Indians were also in Moneyball too, guys. People forget, but yes, the Indians were
that one. I mean, that one would go to the A's. That one would go to the A's.
Yeah, but the Indians get a supporting nod in that. Come on.
Well, that's like giving the White Sox Major League credit, you know, like
I would allow that. Yeah, there's a supporting role. Sure, they're part of the cast. You know, the Browns would win for draft day because they were the stars of draft day, right?
I will say this as a Blue Jays fan, it's quite disheartening to see them jump on the bullshit banner train because, you know, they've got all their AL East champs and they've got all their
wild card ones, right?
They have a 2016 AL wildcard champion banner, and it's like, why? Come on, guys.
Because they won the wild card game.
Oh no! Like that's right up there with the Colts. What is it? AFC finalist champ banners. Yeah.
No, the baseball ones that I can't stand are when people put up division series champion banners. It's like that's not a thing. That's not a real thing.
I mean,
I mean, that used to be a thing in hockey, you know, to be like the division champs, but that was when the playoffs were all strictly division oriented, and now they're not. So,
it's too easy to hang up stuff now.
And then of course there are, you know, there's the gold standard of bullshit, you know, shared between the San Jose Sharks and the Nashville Predators, who just
the thing about the Sharks, which to some credit, it's not in the stadium.
Yeah, it's the practice. It's in the practice
thing where they have a banner that says playoffs.
Yeah,
making the playoffs, they have a banner for that.
See, I think what happens is they go to places like, say, Boston Garden, like Boston Garden, whatever it's called now.
Yeah, of course.
Or Chicago or Detroit, or they play in the Staples Center and they see all the Lakers banners, these teams. They go, well, shit, let's have it look good hanging in our ceiling too. Yeah. We don't have anything, so let's put something up. Yeah, so we'll put anything up that just looks cool. It's it doesn't work like that.
I think that's okay for young franchises, but at a certain point, you hit that level where it's like, okay, now you're legitimate. You don't have to do this anymore. So fix it. Like that's my thing with the Red Wings is like it might have been fun early on in the days of Joe Louis to fill up the whole ceiling, but once you got to a certain point, clean it up a little bit. You know, put all the division champions on one banner.
I will say this. You know, for the Montreal Canadiens, they only have banners for the Stanley Cups.
That's what they have room for.
Right.
They have banners for the Stanley Cups and the retired numbers, and that's it.
Because the Lakers do that, the Habs do that. I'm pretty sure the Yankees do that.
I bet you the Celtics don't have anything hanging but championship banners.
I don't know because they have a lot, but the problem is they also have to share the rafters with the Bruins now.
So the Bruins have won the cup how many times? What, like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah, but the Bruins also put up. They have a bunch of retired numbers too, and
yeah, sort of the I was going to say the Red Sox. Fuck the Red Sox.
Well, the
Celtics.
The Celtics retired number banner is actually quite small. They just put them all in one sheet,
right?
And the Bruins just have those little circles with the B in the middle.
Yeah,
the number. I don't know. I'm gonna look up a picture right now. Boston Garden banners.
This may take up all of your internet bandwidth here, Zach. Be careful.
Let's see.
Welcome to Basically a Sports Show, where we're not talking the '98 football season. We're on what's hanging from the ceiling.
The Celtics only have the championship banners, yes, and then the Celtics actually have 3 banners with little squares on them for the numbers. Where there are 8, there are 2 banners that have the full 8.
Right.
Whoa, Robo.
Out, Greg.
And then the Bruins on the other side, they have Cup champion banners and Division champion banners, so theirs is a bit different. They wanted to see that's a thing where like the Celtics had so many, the Bruins were like, well, we also have to look impressive, so they tried to fill up their side with everything else, including the Cup championship.
The Leafs just have retired banners and cut banners, I think. Yeah.
Or I guess that's an old picture. The Bruins have actually cleaned theirs up. They've done the thing that I said, where they put division champions with just adding years onto the championships.
I want to go. So the Celtics have 18 retired numbers, right? 8 and 8 and 2 is 16, right? Yeah. That's math even I can do. We said they had 2 that were full of 8 numbers each, and then 1 with 2 on it.
I think it's more than 2. Just the thing was blocked off.
Oh, okay.
They have
all you have to do is like if you play 5 seasons there, they retire your number. I mean, like I'm sure Paul Pierce's number has been retired, and probably Garnett and Rajon Rondo.
That's Los Angeles Laker NBA champion, Rajon Rondo.
Yep, him and J.R. Smith, baby.
NBA champion J.R. Smith.
I think 2-time NBA champion. I think he won the Cavs too.
Retired.
22 out of what 99? That's pretty good.
I was trying to see, like, it looks like the Hershey Bears have won the most Calder Cups. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to find a picture of their like banner setup or anything, and I can't. But I did find. I don't know if it's legit. I assume they don't play at this place anymore. Let me see if I can verify the age of this
Bruins,
photo.
by the way, have 22 retired numbers, and then they have another retired name that I guess they didn't. He asked that his jersey number not be retired so that a future Celtic could wear it, and then it was later retired. That the number he wanted to not be retired was eventually retired for another player.
Ah, look at that!
I just feel like this is very depressing looking. Like,
oh my god,
this dingy, no coming attractions.
No, I love the coming attraction sign. Yeah,
that's old Iron League shit there, man. That's old time hockey, folks.
That they used to play in. They certainly can't be playing there still.
I was Googling imaging that. I was like, yeah, there's no way that can't be modern. What a rinky-dink jank thing that would be.
Yeah, like I said, man, that's old school. That's the old Iron League. Wait, so who? I want to go back a second. So somebody had their name retired.
Yeah, the Celtics.
So I'm sorry, you may be the greatest player ever, but you've got the wrong last name. So fuck off, go play somewhere else. I mean, how does that work?
I think it was more just like they put his name. Like they wanted to retire his jersey. He said no. He wanted his number to be worn by another great Celtic later, and so they just honored him by putting his name up within retired numbers.
Fair
and then
enough.
it just so happened to be that the guy who ended up wearing his number later was good enough to have his number retired. So they retired.
Well, see, so he got exactly what he wanted. Then another great Celtic came along, and here we are.
What a weird conundrum that is. That's
so no, Andy. That arena is old. The new one opened in 2002.
I feel a little better now.
I got to see if I can find a picture of where I used to watch hockey all the time. You guys are going to love this.
The Giants replaced the Hershey Park Arena, which, oh my God, is an aircraft hangar. If you can find a picture of the outside of this thing, it's an aircraft hangar.
What's it called?
It's called the Hershey Park, all one word, Hershey Park Arena.
Ah, okay. I've heard of Hershey Park.
Right, but it's Hershey. But Hershey Park it's a theme park for Hershey candy. It's called just the Hershey Park Arena.
Oh, huh. Yeah, let's take a look here. I'll throw it up on the.
Built in 1938.
It looks like that's legit. It looks like it's something that was built to survive a nuclear blast, and like I've seen bunkers and stuff built like this. I'm trying to share, Greg, so you can throw it up there. So the
when
world.
it was
hold on, I was all right. Here we go.
When it was built in 1936, the Hershey Sports Arena, the building was the largest monolithic structure in the United States without a single obstructed view seat.
Nice.
It really looks like the containment facility over Chernobyl, or not facility. It looks like it looks like that weird dome.
Looks like a giant warehouse or a aircraft hangar.
Yeah, there you go. Today we all learned a little bit more about the Hershey Bears than ever thought.
Right, you've had the Hershey Bears '98 NFL season and banners. There you go.
So, Greg, I just you talked about how we did mention how basically a sports show. We talked about 1998 and we discussed random minor league hockey stuff. If you recall back in the day, this was years ago with the More Like Radio time. They basically this kind of hurts our show a little bit, but if you wanted to be a part of that network or whatever, the bare minimum was, do you have a podcast? And if the answer was yes, you got to be a part of it. So there were a few other shows on there where literally the content was just, there was a guy, he would drink beer and talk about golf he was watching for like 4 hours a clip. That's all it was. And it was strangely pleasant. I mean, it was actually a fairly cathartic show.
That's hilarious. I like to imagine that he's mostly talking about the golf, but every now and then he kind of just slips into a really nice story that
It was kind of ahead of its time in some ways, because there's a lot of people who just stream now on like Twitch where they just play video games but don't really do much of anything. There's literally a YouTube channel. I think it's a YouTube channel where a guy will every day post a about 40-second clip of him drinking water. And that's all it is. He drinks water. He doesn't say anything, and that's the end of the video. He just drinks.
You know what the moral of the story is? The people that like the content for this show, too fucking bad. Look what you could be watching instead. People drinking water and stuff. No, you know what? More Like Radio. God, I don't think it made our show look bad that they let that stuff on. I think we were way too good for that network. Is what happened. Is my feeling was always
right. I mean, there was a lot of confusion about us. I think it was sort of like at the beginning of 2001: A Space Odyssey, where the apes were like the monolith landed, and the apes were confused and horrified by it. So they just kind of screamed and began to kill one another.
This is gonna. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, and just to touch on something that Chaos Blast posted about the Leafs changing their retired number policy, it used. God,
there you go. Had it ready.
Wait, I gotta find it so I can shut it off. Sorry about that, Mike. Go ahead. I got lost on the board there. I'm like, wait, where the fuck is that thing? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the Leafs originally had a policy where the only numbers that they would retire would be like people who died, and everyone else got honored numbers, but they wouldn't be retired. And that policy changed a few years back when they just kind of shifted all of the honored numbers to retired, and now they just do retired numbers like everyone else.
Like Wendell Clark, right?
Yeah.
Is his number actually retired, Wendell Clark?
You know what? I'm not sure if Wendell Clark's number is retired, although it should be.
Okay, I'm just curious. Yeah.
God
I
damn.
assume even at a certain point, like if you're somebody that's joining the Leafs, you're not going to take one of those honored numbers anyway.
Yeah. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? You're not Wendell Clark. Shut up.
You're
like,
not Dougie.
Greg.
Damn it.
You're having a rough one.
Yeah. So Wendell
All
Clark's
right,
number is retired. Yes,
it is retired. Yes.
Yep.
But
speaking of retirements, Doc Emmerich retired today.
Yeah. Score the drive.
We're gonna miss Doc. I think he was.
Will we though?
Well, yeah, he was. I
will. Yeah,
you'll miss him because he's gone. That's the thing. And
he was the voice of hockey for nationally for 20 plus years.
Okay, American.
The voice of hockey in the United States for 20 plus years. And he is such a unique broadcasting voice. Not only in terms of like his actual like cadence and tone, but like how he calls games. Like
he skipjacks the puck.
Yeah, you kind of make fun of him for like using a bunch of synonym words and like words that don't necessarily make sense for passes and all that. But like, I will never think of a goalie making a blocker save and not think of Doc saying, "Oh, he waffle boards it away."
That to me, that's wonderful. Like that kind of flavor. I mean, I don't know what cold and sterile hockey world of broadcasting.
It's called the CBC, Andy. All right.
Greg, can you mute Mike for the next like 10 minutes while we?
If you want me to, sure.
Like I like because that's what Doc Emmerich brought. He says shays the puck around the boards, and he says like very odd words
in a way. Like
it's endearing, it is charming. Now, just because it's not who's the hockey voice of Canada that I'm assuming you're referencing?
Bob Cole.
Bob Cole. Okay.
And then of course Chaos Blast mentioned Chris Cuthbert and Don Whitman. Don Whitman.
But Chris Cuthbert's not the guy. He's a guy that does hockey there, but he's not.
No,
he's not the voice of Hockey Night in Canada like Bob Cole was or that Jim Hewson is now.
Yeah, no, and I prefer all of those people to Doc Emmerich. So.
All right, well, this is not you then. No, because Doc wasn't your regular guy. Like,
no.
But Doc again, like Doc is folksy, but he also has that kind of like that perfect tenor of like a carnival barker that sometimes you need for like an intense hockey game, where he's talking in his upper register because he's so excited about what's going on, and it's all happening so fast that he just barking out there, what's happening. A Doc Emmerich game got you excited in a way that other guys don't get you excited about hockey games.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you compare him to a guy like Joe Buck, who is, for whatever reason, very vaunted, and I admit has his moments.
Yeah. Joe's gotten a lot better. He used to be really milquetoast because he was trying to like be the next Pat Summerall, but he's much better now.
Way better now. Yeah, I agree.
I'll take the style of Doc Emmerich 10 times out of 10 overall over a Pat Summerall type. I can't be falling asleep watching the game. Like it's one thing when it's baseball, but it's another thing when it's hockey and the speed and the energy of hockey. You can't have that kind of droll, kind of buttery smooth. Like Doc Emmerich
who's getting really disrespected here? Gary Thorne.
Well, yeah, Gary. Gary was my guy growing up because he was the ESPN lead voice. He was.
You want a voice for him?
Sorry, I had to throw it in there.
You Americans want a voice of hockey to honor. Gary Thorne's your man. All right, right.
But Gary Thorne, Doc and Gary Thorne are different.
I'm going to throw another name in there, and you guys might not remember him because he's been gone a while. But Tom Mees really good at hockey too. Just saying, from ESPN, he died. That's probably before his time.
What about Snoop Dogg? Huh?
Well, shit, man. Now you're talking a whole new level of things here.
Well, Snoop Dogg had his moments.
Say nice things.
Snoop Dogg.
Get him, Dion!
I mean, there's Snoop and there's everybody else. So let's just remember that.
So Gary Thorne. I get the appeal of Gary Thorne, and there's obviously some nostalgia glasses with it because a lot of people grew up playing hockey games with Gary Thorne on the call because for the longest time he was EA Sports. But there's something so just kind of fraudulent about his energy. It's the exact same through every single thing. And I mean, yeah, you could probably say the same thing.
This
about
man has fraudulent energy.
He just kind of has a way of talking and delivering his words, and it's just, I don't know, it really just irritates me. Whereas Doc Emmerich feels more like me, more like a fan, a person watching who's just reacting with enthusiasm to the game. It's like, oh my, look at that, holy shit.
I think the difference here too for you, Andy, and I, like I have a lot more love for Gary Thorne because he was the lead voice nationally when the Mighty Ducks made their run to the Cup final in 2003. And like there's so many great Mighty Ducks moments from that run that his voice is what I hear. And then for you, because you had those 3 Blackhawks championship runs, and because Eddie Olczyk is, the other guy in the booth, they would always put Doc and Eddie on the Hawks games when they would do the big playoff games and through the Cup finals, of course. So you probably have a different appreciation for Doc than some.
Well, a little, I guess. I mean, with it, it's more with Eddie Olczyk because him and Pat Foley are usually the ones on the call for the local coverage, and I love Pat Foley. Pat Foley is one of the greats, and him and Eddie Olczyk's a pleasure. Like I love listening to Eddie Olczyk on the game.
And I think Pat Foley's closer to a Doc Emmerich than he is a Gary Thorne.
Yes, very much so. I'm trying
know.
to.
Doc is he's just fun, and like, yes, he can get pretty whimsical and it gets a little corny, but he's just an old dude that likes watching hockey games, and it was fun to sit there and listen to him.
That was all his resume said.
The puck, soccer it across, rebound, shoot, score, and the play is stopped.
They probably when he submitted his resume, that's all it said on it was just, I'm just an old guy who likes watching hockey, and they're like, well, shit, here's $20, you're in. I'm trying to think of is there when you guys are watching football, I guess, or baseball now, I suppose, but mostly football. Is there any crew changes or any new blood in the broadcasts that have made it? You've noticed that have been an improvement, or been oh, that's really, they're doing a good job. I usually get stuck with Sam Rosen, and Sam Rosen should have retired 20 years ago. He doesn't know what the hell's going on.
Sam Rosen is okay. Who was the other? I think he finally retired. The other super old guy in the Fox booths. Oh my God, why can't I remember? Oh my God!
Was he the guy? Was
Dick Stockton?
Dick Stockton.
Was he the guy who once thought that the Rams were playing the Denver Nuggets or something?
Yes. I think he's finally.
What a shame! What a shame that he retired before the WWE went to Fox. Because that would have been tonight. Bruno Sammartino.
No, I think when it comes to football, the name that comes up to me is Kevin Burkhardt, who he's also the Fox baseball studio host. He's very, very good at football, particularly, and I think he's pretty good as a studio host. But he is fun to listen to and calls a great game, very smooth. And then for baseball, I don't know. The baseball guys are all kind of interchangeable to a certain degree. When you're not a Buck.
I have a soft spot for Greg Gumbel. Just the CBS team in general. I think it's because I usually, with the Bears, I'm watching a Fox broadcast, and those can be just really over the top, really annoying and cheesy. Not that CBS doesn't have its moments, but for whatever reason, Greg Gumbel, he's an imperfect broadcaster, but whenever he's calling a game, I just feel like he has a pleasant, I agree. The timbre of his voice is positive.
I like all the CBS for the most part. I like all the CBS. Like Jim Nantz is, no matter what you think of him, he is a gold standard.
Yes, Jim Nantz is excellent.
Ian Eagle is very good, and then as you said, Greg Gumbel. Kevin Harlan only does football radio, right? I don't think he does CBS TV.
No, he's on Westwood One, I think, right? He's the main
right.
guy on Westwood One. Yeah.
He's a prominent basketball TV guy, but he does football and radio. And Kevin Harlan is very, very good. I wish he would do football TV, but he seems to have that radio gig locked down.
I'll tell you who I can't stand, and I think he's on Fox. Is what's his name? Tiki Barber as an analyst. Oh my God!
That's the thing that brings down those Fox crews is the analysts are all kind of
horrible.
Mark Schlereth is a Fox color guy now, and it's just
one want to give some props to fellow Canadians, Jeremy and Chaos Blast, Dan Schulman, great baseball guy.
Yeah. Really good. Yeah, very good. Yep.
Very good. Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. Yes.
Very good. Bravo.
Well, with like the only baseball guy that I can think of is he actually did Game 7 of the Dodger Braves game last night because Joe Buck had to go back and do football. Is Joe Davis, who has been very good. I think he's the guy. Let me double check. I don't want to speak out of turn. Yeah, he's the guy that took over. So Joe Davis did the national broadcast for Game 7 of the NLCS, and he took over for Vin Scully on Dodgers TV.
Wow.
So
talk about some tough shoes to fill, man.
Tough shoes to fill, and he's done a very good job. He's not Vin Scully, like nobody is, but he's very technically good at the job, and has filled in very well for Dodger
What
broadcast.
the hell
And did a good job last night.
Vince Scully did something just a while back where it was like he basically said good evening. I did his character, his catchphrase, and it was had nothing to do with baseball. I was like, this is fucking awesome, just because it's Vin and he's talking. That's simple as that.
Vin's on social media now, and he's
right.
They have him go on video and tell a story like once a week, and just listen to Uncle Vin give you a story to kind of.
If nothing else, man, we can always say that we were alive when Vin Scully was calling baseball games, because no one will ever do it better than that. I don't care who they think. It's just not going to happen.
Not because of like.
No, Andy, what you're not gonna sully the name of Vin Scully, are you?
Dare you?
I'm not sullying.
I'm gonna mute his ass right now.
I'm not.
That's your hatred, Fluff.
I just again, I have utmost respect for the man in his career. I absolutely do. From a baseball perspective, sure. If I'm just listening to a baseball game on the radio, sure, why not? But as far as like, I just never got it. Maybe it's just because I didn't grow up with him. I didn't watch him or listen on a daily basis. But so, it's one of those things where people hype up, like if they hype up like a cheeseburger place or something, it's like, oh, you got to get this burger. And then you go and it's like, oh, hot shit. It's like the first time I had Whataburger, people were telling me like Whataburger, or like, what's the one in LA, the In-N-Out burger. And people are like, this is the best thing you've ever had. And then you go and you try it. And it's like, it's a burger, guys. It's just a burger.
The only place that ever kind of lived up to that kind of hype with me, and is because you don't go in expecting a religious experience, but everyone's like, Five Guys is so good, you're gonna have to try it. I'm like, it actually is pretty good. Pretty good.
Nah.
Nothing like they made it out to be, but I thought it was pretty good.
Five Guys is overrated and expensive.
Five Guys is nice if you want a bag full of fries on top of your food.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't saying it was great. I'm just saying that like it was like, okay, this is actually pretty good, because usually you go, what the fuck are they talking about? But it wasn't bad.
Back to Andy.
And Vince Scully, I'm going to mute him here because fuck him.
Between Andy and myself, we're just apparently shitting on all of the beloved commentary.
No,
God damn, man.
I'm not trying to be contrarian or say like I'm not trying to like to besmirch the legend of Vince Scully. It's just not like it, because Greg is like the way you guys talk. It's like if I have one guy call a baseball game. If I had my choice of anybody in history to call a baseball game, I would pick Vin Scully. And it's like,
I don't know. Ernie Harwell would be a good choice too.
No, you know what? I don't know if I want, like, if it was like Game 7 of the World Series and it's like this intense thing. I don't know if that's like what I want Vin Scully to do.
No.
But if it's a Sunday afternoon in July and I just want to take in a baseball game and listen to somebody call a game, I want Vin Scully that just like. There's a warmth to his tone and his demeanor. Feels like he's welcoming you in to sit right down next to him, and he's going to sit there for 3 hours, tell you about the baseball game, but also tell you some stories and just keep you entertained and happy and content for 3.5 hours.
He's a glass of warm milk. That's what he is. He's a glass.
So I put an onion on the belt, which was the style at the time.
Right. Here's going to be.
Well, first off, in Vince Scully's defense, okay, he did a pretty solid job of calling Kirk Gibson's home run in the in the '88 World Series.
That was the thing about Vince Scully, the best thing of his entire career. Not just that
God.
moment. No. I'm not saying. let me finish my statement. Vince Scully knew when the moment was right to let the crowd tell a story, and he would always do that. And that's a trait that needs to happen more still today. And he embraced it, and that was, to me, the legacy of him is to acknowledge the fans with letting their sounds and the sounds of the game tell the story on occasion. But if it's a game where I just want to have one man call the game, I'd probably take John Miller. Honestly, I'd take John Miller over.
That's a fine choice too. I got to be honest. That's a great choice.
Yeah.
Give
me John Miller. I mean, it's one thing to have, Vince Scully kind of just sleepily kind of tell me some old yarns. It's like sitting next to Grandpa in the garage on a hot day, just kind of, oh yeah, we used to go down and I was cleaning my weed whacker out. I had some, got some power wash with the hose, and then your grandmother was out there giving me shit. And it's like,
back then, Nichols had bees on him. 5 bees for a quarter.
All right, Canada, that's enough out of you.
It's making it sound like you hit me up and just telling you about his day. That's not how it is. You will be like, it's a belter in the right field, and it's fielded by Jackie Oblong. Well, now that we mentioned Jackie, I'm going to tell you a story about Jackie Robinson. Now,
the year was 1906. It was. And I ran into Jackie Robinson on the ferry down by
the. You got to say it like my grandpa used to say it: 19 and 6. 19 and 6.
So I wonder if there are any moments during the latter years of Vince Scully's broadcasting.
I am ashamed to be a part of this exercise.
Robot Greg.
Greg Scott Robot.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if there were several moments during Scully's broadcasting career where like somebody had to pull him aside and be like, man, you're reading the names like Dutch Leonard and Van Mungo. These are all names from the 1934 Dodgers rosters. Sorry about that.
That never happened. Vin has been sharp. Vin was sharp until his very last pitch. There was never really a time where it's like, oh man, Vin's losing it. Like, no, he's very clear of mind. And even when these social media videos, he's very clear and concise. He just can't do a 160 game baseball schedule. Even at the end, he was only doing home games, and then even then, he was only doing like he wouldn't do road games. He would only do division road games for a while. Then he went to only home games, and then I think it went down to like 40 games a year in the last like 2 years.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. Yeah,
I will say though, that if seriously, if we're picking a guy to call a game on TV like a Game 7, I think that the guy I would pick would be Bob Costas to call a game.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I like Bob Costas. I think Bob Costas is good as being a sports broadcaster. I don't like Bob Costas as a game broadcaster.
Really?
Because I think Bob Costas's smugness comes across in way too big of a spread in like a full baseball game. He's a great historian of the game. He's a great guy to lead a studio, but I
think he does a pretty damn good job calling baseball myself.
He's a fine broadcaster, but
I wouldn't pick him for a full hour.
I think.
You want to
go ahead.
Just speaking of local broadcasters, this is going to be a complete 180. You want to know who the... Okay, so he's very beloved around here, and he is, by all accounts, a very nice guy, so I don't want to diss him too much, but goddamn, the Tampa Bay Lightning need to get Phil Esposito off the call.
Phil Esposito is so bad.
Phil Esposito is the lightning color guy on the radio, and the dude is sauced by the second period every game.
Well, Mike, he's like the best they could get down there. Like they're like Phil Esposito, fuck, he lives here, he retired here. Let's put him in.
What's the name of the actual play-by-play guy?
Dave Mishkin.
He's the guy that does all the.
He yells a lot.
He has an aneurysm every time the Lightning put the puck in the net.
Yeah,
is he the one that has all these like crazy sayings and stuff too? Like not like Doc Emmerich, but like more like.
I'm honest. I've never really picked up on Dave Mishkin's catchphrases aside from the fact that he screams his lung out every time the Lightning score. But
maybe it's the Panthers guy that does that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
but I refuse to believe that anything about the Panthers is memorable. But
with Phil Esposito,
it wasn't. It took me 2 teams to figure it out.
They were playing the Lightning's like cup winning call. You know, they had like the video of it, and Dave Mishkin goes nuts. It's like, oh, the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup, and you just have Phil Esposito in the background just going, oh wow, wow, look at that. Hey, Phil, they won the Stanley Cup. Oh yes, the Lightning won the Stanley Cup. Wow,
he was probably drunk, but no, the peak Phil Esposito Lightning commentary moment for me came. I think it was like last year. They were playing the Ottawa Senators, and I was on my way home, and I actually had the game on the radio, and Phil Esposito at one point goes, "The puck's been intercepted by the Ottawa player, the Ottawa guy," and I was like, my gosh.
Well, you can't be wrong that way. Yeah.
I'm just imagining at that point, like some poor Lightning intern is like rushing up to the broadcast. It's like, we need to get Phil coffee. Like, come on, like get up there.
How old is Phil Esposito now?
Oh, I have no idea.
I think
he's got to be.
And he's been the Lightning color guy like since their entire existence.
Yeah, well, see, that's it's like he founded the team basically, right?
Yeah, he's 78.
He founded the team, and so they have a statue of him at the arena, and they're never going to like kick him off, right? Because it's like they like the Lightning deify Phil Esposito, and no one's ever going to be the guy in that organization to be like, we fired Phil from commentary because like, can we all say that he sucks? Like, nobody wants to be that guy, so it's just not going to happen. But he needs to retire, or someone needs to have a talk, because it's bad. It's bad.
They need to take the Seconals away when he downs like a fistful at between periods.
Like I will. You'll get a treat if you look up like Phil Esposito like radio calls, just because he does crap like that all the time, where he just doesn't recognize players, or it's like, oh wow, he put what a goal. It's like, oh yeah, you know, he got the puck on his stick and wow, he put it in the net. Good for him.
I passed the goalie to went in the net. I think that counts as one score.
Do you guys know any broadcasters who this just came to mind? Any like prosperous broadcasters with a Southern accent? Now, Jim Ross is the only one I could think of that actually like like made it world. Because when I think of like high school football, generally I think of usually some yokel that's like on the call, and typically it's they're fucking up the levels.
Generally speaking, and Greg, maybe you can confirm this or tell me I'm full of shit. I don't know, but it's my understanding that when you get to a certain level in broadcasting, if you do have an accent of some sort, they work very hard with you to kind of bury that. Like, because
I can't imagine that someone with a really. I think there's been a couple that.
Keith Jackson, sort of.
But what I was going to say,
Terry Bradshaw, is another one.
Yeah, again, but sort of. It's not really pronounced. You can tell he's a guy from Louisiana, but I'm talking like a guy like when you get to that level, like the national level. If you're like, hey, how y'all doing? They're not going to put you on the air. They're just
Jimmy Johnson's Southern as hell. I mean, he's on.
But he's a studio guy.
But he wasn't calling games. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Terry Bradshaw doesn't call games either. So
right. He used to. Terry Bradshaw used to when he was.
What about NASCAR? Who does NASCAR?
Even with these guys though, like
NASCAR's a different story, man. You got hillbillies running left and right on that shit. Yeah.
Sorry, Zach, go ahead.
I'm sorry. It wasn't like I don't think anybody heard me because my fucking internet. Sorry, I was just saying like most of the guys that you hear with an accent are former players or like former coaches. Right. I don't think pure play-by-play guys or even pure studio guys have an accent of any sort. Like the only time I can think of it is when they show like Alabama highlights and they're using the radio calls.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that comes to mind, like the Iron Bowl game, right, where Auburn won by returning the the missed field,
field goal, right?
The missed field goal, right? Like they've got like they use the local like they have like the local Auburn call on a lot of those clips, and it's like this guy really thick Alabama. It's like Auburn's going to win the football game, and it's and stuff like that. Like that's like the famous call, I guess, for that game. But I mean, again, that's like local, and like not only that, that's college football, which I think it kind of gets a pass because I think college football is probably by and large just kind of recognized as being, you know, more southern in nature, or at least more regional. So
yeah, but even if you wouldn't want like a guy with a thick southern drawl calling.
Yeah, but yeah,
not even. Yeah, yeah. I think that nationally, it probably even like regionally, it's probably not as much. But back to Andy's point with NASCAR, yeah, in NASCAR it makes no difference. I mean, now, again,
Sure.
not the guy that's calling the race, but the rest of them. Oh my God, it's like I feel like I'm at a family reunion with some of those guys.
Now to Chaos Blast asking what is it about North American soccer announcers with British accents? I have a very easy way to kind of demonstrate that. I remember I was in university when Toronto FC started their first season, right? And Toronto FC, you know, they released their jerseys, and I wanted an inaugural jersey, but I did not get the first jerseys they released because the first jerseys they released had the Toronto FC word mark on the front, and I knew they were going to get a jersey sponsor. Now, you look at almost any other sport, you know, the NBA has gotten a lot of flack for their jersey sponsors. People are always like, we're always dreading the day that, you know, baseball, football, or hockey, you know, MLB, NFL, or NHL put ads on their jerseys. We're kind of dreading that, but there was, and I went right along with that. Like there's this idea that I could, you know, I needed to wait for the Toronto FC jersey with the sponsor on it for it to be like the right jersey. And even though the idea in any other sport would have seemed absurd to me, and the reason that was because it's like, oh, well, you know, over in the UK, in Europe, you know, anywhere else they play soccer, that's just how it is. So I think among North American soccer fans, there is sort of this idea that, like, in order to be legitimately soccer, there needs to be emulation of you know, the way that it's done elsewhere, and the UK being very close culturally is probably the closest touchstone. Yeah. So you get like a British guy calling a MLS game, and it's a huge deal because it's like, oh, well, this adds to the legitimacy of this being, right, you know, soccer.
It makes it seem legitimate. It makes it seem like it's valid. That's not to say that there aren't some good North American voices for soccer. Like I think John Champion, who does a lot of the national Fox games, is very good. JP Della Camera always shows up for you know, World Cups and stuff like that. He's very, very good. But besides those two, they usually fill out the rest of the roster with Brits, or at the very least just take the international English feed, which is going to be a British voice. And it does just make it feel legitimate. Because there's a thing about the American tone that just doesn't work for soccer games unless you call it in a very specific manner, which I think Camera and John Champion do.
I mean, it is obviously, I don't think in the United States it factors much into calling the games because you know, I'm talking about hockey now, because you know Doc Emmerich obviously. Well, Doc Emmerich doesn't even sound particularly American. He's kind of his own thing. But
by the way, I misspoke. It's not Jonathan Champion. Jonathan Strong is the American announcer. Sorry.
But I mean, you look at American studio shows for hockey, right? And a lot of Canadian guys who sound very Canadian because I mean, on one hand, it's like, you know, you usually get former players for these positions, and a lot of them are Canadian, so, you know, they're going to sound like it. But on the other hand, I have to think it's at least a conscious choice on some level, you know, going like, hey, hockey is not the most popular thing here. The hockey fans in the United States are probably more clued into how it's played elsewhere. And if we get a guy with a good Canadian accent on the studio show, that's going to make it sound more authentic. So I have to think it's kind of the same thing with soccer and with getting someone with a British accent in there.
All right. We're at 1 hour and 47, guys. Might be time to wrap it up.
I'm sorry, you don't want to hear more about American soccer announcers, Greg?
Well, I mean, I'm fascinated, but I'm not sure the audience is going to go along with me.
So who are the current Major League Soccer champions, just out of curiosity?
I don't know. Who fucking cares?
I'm with you, Greg. Who gives a shit? I do not give a single fuck. I'm sorry. I just don't. I do not.
Yeah, I was going to say the reason they have British announcers for soccer is no Americans are like, fuck this, I don't want to do that. But that's just me.
To answer your question, Mike, it's Seattle.
You know, I just want to say really quick before we close out on the announcer thing, it was hilarious. I think it was last year. The main play-by-play guy for NASCAR and NBC wasn't available or something, so this British guy was calling a NASCAR race with Taylor Earnhardt Jr. and this other guy. It was fucking...
Did he know what he was talking about?
Oh, yeah, he knew his stuff cold.
Yeah, no. He does IndyCar.
Yeah, but he did a NASCAR race with two guys from North Carolina, and it was the funniest damn thing I'd ever heard in my life.
I love the idea. Oh, you know what? Now they got to get some. Now NASCAR just needs to do this just for the hilarity of it. They need to find some French Formula One, announcer to call the Indy or something.
Oh, that would be fantastic! I would so love that. All right. Anyway, boys, let's wrap it up. We're way over on. I'm sure our listeners' patience at this point. So, any final thoughts before we call it a night, guys? I'm using that to buy time to get my shit together here to get the stuff ready to close the show. Okay. Anyway,
the only thing I could say is if you haven't yet, do your thing and vote. Voting is pretty much, you can vote pretty much anywhere. Just do your research, figure out where you can vote, figure out when, and hopefully you live in a state or a region where you can vote without waiting in line for 9 or 10 hours at a time. Vote.
And democracy. It's exciting.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Watch, not participate.
Yeah.
And for the love of God, don't vote third party. I mean, if you can help it, just try to have. I mean, if you're
going to vote third party, don't bother. Is what I would say.
It's because
it's unfortunate, but that's true.
I mean, if I thought you had a chance in hell of even making a point, I'd say go ahead, but you don't.
Don't write in dead gorilla. Don't meme your ballot.
Shit, man, that just gave me an idea there.
The only acceptable write-in answer is Ric Flair. Ric Flair for president.
All right. Anyway.
All right. Close the fucking show, Greg, before we lose control.
Yeah, because God knows it's been a tight, well-run operation all night up until this point.
Yeah, this one's going in the vault.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports. Subscribe via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, the YouTubes, and wherever fine podcasting is sold. We will see you next week with better internet, we hope.
Goodbye.